So Deeks, a 3-0 win against Sporting Khalsa in the second pre-season friendly. We'll talk about the sort of the two different halves. We'll talk about the first half first. How do you sort of summarise that?
I think we look very lax, disorganised, disjointed. Just said to the lads in there's 8 of you that's played with me for probably a year or two now. You know the formation, so I was expecting more, but it was interesting for me to see. I knew they were a good side, I know they're dynamic, I know they're mobile, they move the ball well. And I wanted to see how that team dealt with that in the first half. To be fair to what I just said, you're showing good qualities because when you're not playing very well and you feel a bit disjointed, and there's new players in there, it's about kind of digging in and being resilient, and they showed me that first half, to be fair to the first half group. And then obviously they had the better of the first half, there's no question about that. But again, it's a good exercise for me and seeing that in terms of they had to run a lot of the time for the ball. They moved the ball very crisply, very well. I was quite impressed with them. So it was a great test for them lads in the first half.
Could you possibly take some positives from Clarkie's performance? Had a few shots on goal. Laurel again did pretty well in right back. Ross made some good saves as well.
Yeah, and I think that's obviously what pre-season's for in terms of seeing players when they're under pressure in different situations. Obviously Coxie played a left back today, it was a centre half, because it might come in the season we might need to use it there, and I thought he grew into the game very well, especially into the second half. But yeah, I think Adam Clark showed glimpses of what he can do. And I think his fitness will come as he gets more games under his belt, more training time. Laurel obviously came off second half, did excellently well. His standards have been really high so far this pre-season. So yeah, lots of positives to take from the first half in terms of, even though we didn't play very well, it's good to see the resilience of the side. When they're under the cosh, under pressure, they've dug in and kept me a clean sheet before going in at half time.
And obviously all 3 of the goals came in the second half, so it was a big change. So looking at that second half performance, how do you analyse that one?
Yeah, I thought the lads were excellent in the second half. The way that they moved the ball, the trust that they had in each other especially, the shape of the team, just had a lot more flow to it. Yes, they tired a little bit as well in the second half, which is always a factor, but in terms of that, I think the lads put them to the sword second half in the way that they played. I think Willows had a save to make or a shot on target of note, so it shows how well they did in the second half, played on the front foot, kind of how we play. But again, it's good to see both sides of that coin, I think, because we're going to need it this year.
And just how impactful were players like Kurt, Levan, Jebbo, Cam all coming on and showing that intensity?
Yeah, I think Jebbo, Levan, TC, Cam coming on at that front end of the pitch, that's real mobility up top. I think that's something that caused endless problems in the second half. Backed up by obviously Callum in there. And it was just a real kind of flow to the side. I think that's what I'm looking for. I want that fluidity. I want them to go and attack. Yes, we're kind of running the gauntlet in terms of we have 4-on-4 at the back or whatever it is, but that's the way I want to play. I'm a manager, like I've always said since I came here, that I'd rather go and win 5-4. I want them to go and attack. I want them to score goals. I want to be dynamic in and out of possession. So the recovery runs were good in the second half in terms of the getting back goal side. And, Kurt was a catalyst for that. To be fair to him, his work rate was tireless in there. His energy. And I think the front lads combined very, very well in certain moments in the game to create some great goals. And obviously we'll watch the video back and have a look at that, but we could have scored probably 3 or 4 and more in the second half again. Probably similar story to Tuesday.